Hey,
Hello, Tammy.
how are you?
Good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear that dinging?
I hear a little tapping.
Okay, so it's just dinging in my ear. I keep getting Facebook notifications on my laptop, and it's quite annoying. Alrighty, let me check the Facebook event and see who else is gonna plan on joining us.
Okay. I'll be right back.
Sure. Okay. It may just be us. A couple people who were planning on coming, stuff came up. So
Okay.
anyway, you get my undivided attention.
Right.
Alrighty, so today I was going to talk about a little bit more detail. Oh, Sandra, hi. Welcome. Turn this on my break. Anyway, I was going to talk a little bit more about brand messaging and a little deeper overview of that. Several people took advantage of the brand message package that I announced last month, which is awesome. But I wanted to just open it up and talk a little bit more about what that actually looks like, and then also talk a little bit more about what goes into that process in case there were people who were interested in taking a stab at it themselves and didn't necessarily want to work with me, which is totally fine. So we talked about branding at the Lunch and Learn in January, and really it's the idea of the look and feel and tone and message of your business. So it's more than just a logo, but it does include your logo. And I describe it as the personality of doing business with you. So you really want to convey what the experience with you is versus someone else. And that's especially true when you're in a field that people lump what you do together with the people that are in that same field, like massage therapists or real estate agents or health coaches. But truly, everybody has their own feel, their own vibe, and then they have their own reasons of why they got into their business, and they have their own clientele that they prefer to work with. So it's a means of expressing kind of clearly and concisely who you are and what the experience of doing business with you is like, and being able to clearly call out to your ideal client so that when they compare your business card to the next farmer's business card, they have more of a sense of who you are.
Good job getting the tasting on the book. Smart.
I'm gonna try and mute Sandra. There we go. Okay. So I should have grabbed this before, but I put them away. Silly. I just finished a brand message session before I started this. But I'm gonna go grab a couple of the business cards that to give you guys an example, and I'm going to break those down really quick. So bear with me, excuse me.
All right. Hey, Kelly.
How's it going, Mike?
One good.
Good. Is it ever going to stop raining?
One day, and then we'll wish it was raining then.
So is rain kind of a chance for you to relax and rest as a farmer?
Well, we just do different things. We actually have high tunnels, greenhouses we work in.
Yeah, that's
Today
true.
we're remodeling that, or not remodeling, but finishing that building you were in earlier. You know, when you came to visit the farm, we went up
Yeah.
try to do classes in there.
Yep.
So we're
Cool.
working in there today.
You guys are busy bees, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. We'll have something going, and then Judy has 4 grandkids today to look after.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, she took them all to the library a while ago.
Cool.
Cool. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Healthy Lifestyle Network brand message. So our tagline is connecting resources and inspiring healthy living. And the 3 bullet points that we used to kind of explain what that looked like was impacting community well-being through trusted resources, converting knowledge to action through holistic education, linking desire to opportunity through community events. And then before I kind of break that down, I'm going to give you a couple different other examples. Rawls Whittlesey with Balanced Energy Wellness, her tagline is find your balance, be well. Find balance with acupuncture, restore vitality with herbal medicine, elevate your energy with custom nutrition plans. And then Amy James with the Center for Living Balance is renewing strength for caregivers, deepening bonds for couples, and restoring peaceful relationships for families. So what I like to do is start a brand message with some sort of action motivating word so that it entices the reader to finish the sentence, but usually we pick language that actually has to do with their result. So you may have heard, if you were here in January for the Lunch and Learn, I asked, what are 3 things that you want your clients to say about you or about working with you when they're done? And then what are 3 results that they should have after working with you? And so you want to use that as the baseline, because yes, your brand messaging is about you, but it's also about them. It's about what working with you is going to do for them. That's what we want to clearly communicate. So anyway, having that action word at the beginning that kind of leads them into this thought of where they're going to end up and what the result is going to be. The next piece is what I call the bridge. And that is, we pull words from the language that you naturally use to describe yourself, to describe your business and what you do. There's going to be certain language that you feel comfortable using that is natural to you. And the whole point of branding and marketing is that it should feel consistent all the way through. If those are the words that come naturally to you when you're talking about yourself and what you have to offer, that's definitely the kind of language that we need to start with and to put out there as your brand. Anything else is going to feel incongruent. So like Center for Living Balance, for example, renewing strength for caregivers. Amy chose to go with very nurturing language because that's the vibe of who they are as a counseling practice. They're very nurturing. They're very in tune with the connections and that's just their feel. Another counselor or another practitioner of any sort may choose to use more strong empowerment language because that's who they are and that's their personality. When you meet Amy, she is very warm and kind and large-hearted, and you feel that. Someone else you may meet is I was just going to use an example, but I decided not to. Someone else you may meet could still be, is more of what you would associate with like empowerment and kind of the strength and moving people forward or something like that. And so they're going to use a little bit more bold language, but that suits them. And who they're calling out to is going to be attracted to that too. So you want to make sure that, as always, we're following the 4 principles of effective marketing. And the first one is always authenticity. So being true to who you are and how you speak. The last element of these sentence structures is can be a couple different things. And this is where it's important to kind of look at what your goals are for your business overall and who you're trying to serve, what you have to offer. This final piece can be either specific client results, can be specific modalities within your business. It can also be a specific clientele that you like to work with. So we've got examples of kind of all 3. Here, back to Center for Living Balance, they chose to call out specific clientele. And they didn't just come up with that randomly. We looked at their business plan and their model, and I do this with all of my clients, ask them, who do you have the most fun serving? What are the people that you enjoy working with the most? And then second, who makes you the most money, or what packages make you the most money? Because that's what we really want to talk about first. Because those are our clients that we want to focus on. The other option is like Rawls, as an example. She has 3 key elements in her business that she focuses on: acupuncture, herbal medicine, and nutrition plans. So she chose to call out to that at the end of that process. So she's helping the person realize that they can find balance. And so that's the result piece. How? With acupuncture. These bullet points often answer the how of whatever your business name or tagline says. So like ours, for instance, is connecting resources and inspiring healthy living. How? The next 3 bullet points talk about that. And we chose the 3 main kind of ways that we do outreach to end our messages with. So we ended with trusted resources, which is all of you, holistic education, which we provide and facilitate, and then community events. So those are the 3 main areas that we're trying to reach out to people and fulfill this connecting resources and inspiring healthy living. So I'm actually going to put Kelly on the spot a little bit because Kelly and I just worked through this process. And would you be open to sharing what your brand messaging is? Because you have a little bit different than the examples that I'm using too.
Sure, I'd be happy to. Do you want me to do it, or are you going to share it for me?
No, I'll let you do it.
Okay, hold on a second.
Go for it.
So this, go ahead, Mike. What'd you say?
Go for it.
Okay, so this is brand new for me. So I'm going to have to look it up real quick. And in fact, I'm still working on getting my new business cards ordered. So, but I'll share it with you. I will say that the time I spent with Tammy, as always, is really fun. And it really helped to have somebody else there to put my thoughts together in a brand message. So if you haven't done it, I recommend it. So mine is, as you know, I'm a health coach, and my first one, and what I like about this is it also as Tammy brought out to me, it shows what I do in my program, in my health coaching program. The first one is at the beginning and then the middle at the end. So it's a progressive thing for what I do for people. So the first bullet point is turning breaking points into starting lines with personalized support. So many of my clients, they've tried everything else, and they're mentally beaten, and they need a new start. And so that's why, breaking points to starting lines. Let's just get started moving in the right direction, not to overwhelm you, not too much, but just baby steps towards your goal with personalized support. And then the second one is navigating wellness journeys by Okay. Navigating wellness journeys by turning thoughts into actions. So again, getting people started, wellness journeys, everybody has a different one. And then the last one is aligning body and soul with solutions to thrive. So that one, means I really try to help people with their bodies, but also with their heart and their soul and their spirituality, and how that goes with their health. So it really is, it's really cool to go through this process with Tammy, and I was very happy with the outcome. And I don't know if I could have done it myself for two reasons. One, again, it's good to have somebody from the outside that's looking in, but also I've got a lot of ideas, but I have a hard time putting it together in a vision, and she's really good at that. So.
Thanks, Kelly.
You're welcome. Infomercial.
I know, I wasn't even expecting that. That was awesome, especially even for putting me on the spot.
It's okay, it's all good.
Yeah, thanks. I'm really proud of how that message came together too. And anyway, yeah. So these bullet points, one, you already know I recommend that they go on your business card, because that's what you're handing out to people at networking events. That's what you're, it's just the business world, what are people's oftentimes like kind of first interaction, so you want to make sure it's there. A lot of people will choose to put this like on the homepage of their websites, so that as soon as you land, you kind of get a feel. Now, it doesn't have to all be lined up as a bullet, but it can be sprinkled through like with your paragraphs. Like, let's say that Kelly chose to talk about that, turning breaking points into starting lines. That could be a paragraph or two. Like that sentence could be a subheading, and then she could explain a little bit more about that and kind of expound on what this journey with her is going to be like. It just depends. Don't feel like you have to use these sentences everywhere or with everything that you're trying to do. Brand messaging, especially like this, is meant to be an anchor for you internally. So when you have clarity, and especially for someone who happens to do, 5 or 7 different things within their business, we want to focus on the main ones. And usually if you've got 5 or 7 things that you do, you can probably put a couple of those in buckets. And so we want to, if the list of what you do is long, then we would want to create those buckets. So when you are looking at incorporating and trying to live by your brand message, you want to think, you always want to come back to it and say, is this article that I'm sharing on social media, how does this tie into one of my bullet points, or this blog that I'm writing, or even down to the networking events that you go to or want to participate in, or the events that you plan? How is this furthering this branch or the other branch of my brand messaging? How is this coming? So this is coming together. So this is really kind of a foundation for you all to grow from, to start from, so that there can be some consistency in how you choose to market yourself. With that, I'm sorry, keep pausing is because my screen keeps doing something weird. So I'm sorry for speaking sporadically. Anyway, so with that, those kind of thoughts in mind, I'm gonna unmute everybody and just let me know, what are your thoughts on this? Do you have questions? Do you have questions about how, kind of what you've already got in place or where you're thinking about heading? Like, this is your time too. So what you got for me?
All right. One of the things we did change is we've done our website, and on the home page, when you first get there, it asks a question. It says, would you like to eat healthier? And then it has under there, we can help. And then if you scroll down, then it has 3 things we do to help. So the first one is we have local organic food that you can buy direct from the farm. And then it has different buttons to click to go to whether it's a CSA or whether they come here to visit the farm on the weekends and buy food, or we do one farmer's market in Atlanta. So we have all those listed. And the other 2 are, we can teach you how to grow healthy food. And then the third is we can teach you how to prepare healthy food. So that's kind of like our main overarching thing is healthy food. And you want to buy it from us, or if you're buying it somewhere else, you want to know how to cook it and prepare it and preserve it to keep it from going bad from the day you buy it to the day you use it, you know. And we talk about the classes that we have of that. And so we're about to get some new cards printed up too. And before, we've had listed on our card growers of healthy food, but we're thinking about changing that tagline to would you like to eat healthier? We can help. I don't know whether that's a good, having a question like that is good, or because you ask most people that question and most of them will say yes. I don't know many people say, no, I don't want to eat healthy.
Yeah.
Most of them,
I'm good with McDonald's. Yeah.
Don't do it. They don't put their actions, but they do want it. And so we look for the pain points that stop them from doing that.
Right.
You
Okay.
know?
So I definitely think that is a great thing to put on your business card. I don't necessarily think that I wouldn't say that that's a tagline, because that you really want a tagline to be an introduction to who you are. And so asking them that question isn't really an introduction to who you are. So definitely a good marketing element, totally keep it. But when we're thinking about brand messaging, we want to get a little more, it's a closed thought, and it's more indicative of who you are. So you were totally on point with already having your 3 main areas, which is to purchase, to grow, and to preserve. What I'd want you to do and try and exercise is buying anything, engaging with anybody, doing business period is all emotionally motivated. And so if you can, yes, the ultimate goal is healthier, but if we can break that down a little bit, having a healthy lifestyle or healthier living or healthier food or something, that high level concept could be great in the tagline. You could incorporate something like that in the tagline. But then we want to break down how, and you want to pull in those emotional motivators. So what is an emotional motivator or a specific result that people would have from purchasing at the farm stand? Some thoughts that immediately come to mind are solutions for people on the go. So being able to have an on-hand resource that you can have immediate access to fresh, healthy foods. So conveying that concept and the result of, you made it easier for me, and you've solved a problem. So The second piece of growing is, I wouldn't necessarily use this word because it's a little back to that bold versus nurturing language. It's a little bold for what you guys are, but figuring out how to convey the thought of empowering people to be able to do this themselves, and understand what that process looks like. And then preserving the idea that it's not a waste. It's not a waste of time, and it's not wasted money, and that they're doing something better for their family overall. So if you can take those kind of high level thoughts and then put them in this concise language like we're talking about, now I have a real good sense of how you help. And then I'm also, like I said, with that bridge, there's going to be natural words that come to mind when you're talking about what you do. And so we're going to pull those in. And so they're going to get a sense of the heart of what coming to Country Garden Farms is like, that experience. Because we want to tie that in as well, that you get a sense of this family down home, just kind of a hug in a place because you're surrounded by good people and good food. And that's definitely something that you want to portray.
Yeah. Okay. So do you think the tagline we got now on the card, yeah, it says, local healthy food from our farm to your table. I think that's, and then the other thing is Mike and Judy Cunningham, farmers of healthy food. The two things we've got on there. It doesn't convey anything about our teaching on there.
Yeah, because you've got that element too. Yeah, I think the farm to table is cool, but you're so much bigger than that. So I think I would go a little higher with that concept of living healthier. And maybe you do want to use the word empowering, empowering people to live and eat healthier and then how? By purchasing, growing, and preserving healthy foods. So yeah, it needs a little. Obviously, it takes me 2 hours with a client to work through all of this, and I tell people all the time, this is the messiest part of what I do. It's my favorite part of what I do, but it is about listening to you talk about what you do in your story, and then pulling out those key thoughts and those key words, and then it's a back and forth until I tell my female clients, it should feel like the little black dress in your closet. Like you hear those words, you hear those thoughts, and you go, yep, that's me. And the thing is, when you feel that way about it, your clients are going to feel that way too. They're going to read those things and go, oh yeah, that's totally how I felt at Country Garden Farms, or that's what I got out of it. So, and that enables that continuity too when you're talking about embodying this brand in all of your marketing efforts. It helps you have a clear message even in your social media strategy that this vibe, this feel, this experience of doing business with you, and the kinds of things that you're talking about is all, like I said, anchored back to that messaging.
Okay.
Cool. Anybody else got anything? Thoughts, questions?
I have a question. So he mentioned taglines in what he was discussing. So, if you've got your 3 buckets, as you said, which we shared with each other, that I like the number 3 too, and that all the things you do, you've kind of categorized within those 3 buckets. Then, he was talking about a tagline. Do you try to come up with your tagline that really describes all 3 buckets? Or is your tagline really more related to what you said about your specific clientele, or something to create interest to make people want to look further for your 3 buckets?
It depends.
Is that a hard question?
No, it depends. So there's several different ways that you can approach a tagline. The main thing is it needs to be fairly concise and embody who you are. And because everybody's business is different, what that needs to look like can be different. So like I've got, when we're talking about Rawls, Balanced Energy Wellness,
Okay.
hers is very simple. Find your balance, be well. Like her ultimate,
Yeah.
who she is and the concept is
Yeah.
she's gonna, and then how is she's got a couple different ways she'll help you find your balance.
Right.
But
Right.
just if you are balanced, then you are well. And then for us, we decided to explain what our mission was in the tagline, connecting resources and inspiring healthy living, which is a simple concept. But then
Right.
the brand message that I just finished this morning before I jumped on this call, let me share it with you. It's Maureen Dwyer, who has Inner Peace Studio is her business.
Mm-hmm.
And so, oh no.
Something up.
Oh no, I got it. I opened up my phone and had the wrong picture and I was like, did I not get a picture of that? Anyway, I found it. Okay, so Inner Peace Studio. Again, most of us, people aren't going to know what we do from the name of our business.
Right.
So her tagline was, and her big 3 buckets were spirit, mind, and body. So we
Right.
chose to incorporate that in the tagline. Personalized self-care tools for balancing mind, body, and spirit.
Okay.
How? Experience healing and restore inner peace with Reiki, reconnect with self and gain clarity with mindfulness, support and strengthen your best self with yoga.
Okay. Gotcha.
So
Okay.
yeah, it totally depends. You can, it depends on what your business is. It
Right.
depends on what your clientele is.
Right.
How you choose
Right.
to structure that. But there can
Okay.
be successful ones in any of those categories.
And again, the purpose of the tagline is to make you want to read more or to look for more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. To kind of quickly get a sense of who you are and what you do. So like
Yeah.
Inner Peace Studio doesn't tell me what they do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it tells me it's probably something wellness-ish, but I
Right.
don't know.
Yeah.
Is it massage? Is it what?
Right.
And so that tagline is going to tell me more of what she does. And then,
Got
like
it.
you said, then the furthering of how or what does that mean? So
Gotcha.
it's especially good for, I mean, there's tons of examples of businesses, Sony, you know, Nike, their names, you don't know what they are until you dig a little deeper. So it's
Right.
just a quick way to help identify yourself.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Hi, Sandra. How are you?
Good. Woody's here too. I'm so sorry about the rain. I know it's hard to hear, and I'm glad you're muting and unmuting me. I wanted to ask, in our situation, we're in the wine business, but obviously, and you know this, Tammy, that the wine business is, it's changing, it's shifting. We're going to be introducing new types of products that are clean crafted, and having other collectives and other things that are of interest in healthy beverages, let's say. Woody and I also set up a company called Natural Beverage Direct. We felt that everything that kind of falls under our umbrella is a natural beverage, but we would like to specifically brand ourselves. And in the past, Woody has used the tagline, and we even have it on our individual business cards. It says what wine wants to be. I just don't think that kind of encompasses everything now. I think it's not, I just think, I don't know. I just don't think it works anymore. It doesn't even talk about anything regarding what we do. Obviously, we conduct tastings, but really what we're doing is educating people on the concept of clean crafted. So, and we really, truly do stay in our lane doing that. But we also help other people to get started and to be involved in that as well. And you can mute me now.
Okay. So actually, that's a great thought to bring up, because there is this whole other side of branding. What do you do when you fall under someone else's brand? So Scout and Cellar is a brand,
Yeah. Yeah.
but how do you distinguish yourself from the next rep who does essentially the same thing that you do? So it is important to talk about how the how your approach and all is different. And so I think there's a couple different ways to play with it, but kind of right off the bat, I'm thinking talking about the three main elements of what you do, which is education, tastings, and recruiting. I wouldn't necessarily we would probably use the word tastings, but I don't know that I would use the word recruiting in there, but essentially, how do we convey that concept of recruiting? And then what makes doing it with you different than anybody else? So Woody often talks about himself being a concierge service. So is that a factor that we want to play into? You're going to get some real personalized care. This is more than just ordering from us. We're going to walk you through this and make sure that you're well taken care of, and that you have an experience with us, not just our products. Talking about kind of furthering what Scout and Cellar is already trying to do. So you could talk about the kind of furthering that purpose and that intention of letting wine be what it wants to be. But what does that mean? That means this whole clean crafted concept. So helping educate around this clean crafted, so that because like you said, it is more than just the wine now. And it's more than just the wine for your lifestyle too, and interacting with you. You guys try and support that way of thinking and people who are doing business in that way, regardless of Scout and Cellar. And education and tastings. So you may call out to tastings too, because that is a large part of what you do. But the experience of your tastings is different than what someone else's is going to be. So being able to capture what the feel of being at one of your tastings would be key, I think, because you are going to have a much more elegant educational approach, a kind of sophisticated experience than maybe somebody else would, who would be a much more relaxed, or not that yours is uptight, but just a different approach. So does that help answer? I unmuted you again.
Oh, yes, it helps a lot. I like the sophisticated portion of it and the educational direction, as opposed to just coming and tasting the wines and buying. That's really not what we're about. But we're also trying to help other people, to mentor them and help them get started too, building that and being able to be available for them to kind of further their goals with Scout and Cellar as well. So
I love the word mentor. I definitely could see you playing with that. Yeah.
Thank you. It's really good to talk about this kind of stuff, and it was really helpful the other day to talk to Leticia about it too, because she's going to capture those images, and then I think once we have those images, we're going to be able to play off of that quite a bit.
Most definitely. And this really helps too, like when we're talking about streamlining your content too, is when you have a clear brand message of this is who we are, then you will know better how to present yourself consistently in your social media. And what are we tying back to this time? Are we tying back to the tasting element? Are we tying back to the education element? Are we tying back to the mentoring and furthering this mission with other consultants? And that will help too, because I know we spitballed some ideas when you were here that day with Leticia and talking about some of the clients that you want to have and want to attract and kind of what's going on in their life. And so understanding kind of who those people are and their demographics and all is great. But it really is secondary to understanding who you are and how you're wanting to show up to those people. So
Okay.
if you're talking about having a sophisticated tasting and experiencing this clean crafted difference, and we talk about it in a way that's unique to you or true to you, authentic to you, and we've got images that support that as well. And then that kind of, when we figure out what that is concisely, being able to then show up to the person that we've already talked about that would be interested in this and be the kind of people that you want to work with is going to be a whole lot easier. And how to speak their language or your language in a way that appeals to them is going to be a lot clearer as well.
That's great. Wait, do you have any questions? Woody's shaking his head. I don't know why he's not talking, but
Shaking his head yes or shaking his head no?
he said he had no questions, but he's thinking. He's got his thinking cap on. He's also driving, so
Right.
he doesn't.
Okay.
He's
Well,
not
be
great
safe
at
in the
that
rain.
multitasking.
Great. Okay. Yeah, I try and use branding as the starting point for all of my clients. And even if people have been in business for a while, sometimes it's good to have fresh eyes look at things. And oftentimes, especially with the clientele that I work with, it's a lot of entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and they maybe have not had someone outside look at what they were doing or had that much clarity. You know, they came up with a logo, they came up with a tagline, and that was great. But they didn't really go beyond that. And so helping ground them a little bit more with this kind of concise language usually helps. So, alrighty, I'm going to unmute you guys. Is there any further thoughts or questions you'd like me to address?
No, I think that was great.
Okay, awesome.
Sounds good. We need to all go to work.
Yes, yes. And as always, I'm here to help if you want. And if you've got any other feedback or whatever, and if you've got anything that you want me to address next month, like I've said in the past, this is for you guys, and I'm trying to kind of develop this program and see what it needs to be. So if there's something that you're like, man, I'm struggling with this in my business, or what would you do about that? Just send me an email and ask. And I can certainly teach about that or go over that material for you. So,
Okay.
Tammy,
mm-hmm.
the thing on social media was really good this week. But he commented on developing your own, I don't have my notes in front of me, but your own statement of what you're trying to accomplish with social media.
Yeah, your purpose, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be a really good thing to discuss. I don't know what everybody else thinks about it, but I think that would be a good topic.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, we do a lot of posts, and I wonder sometimes if we really have a goal in mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
To the farm. I mean, we're trying to get people to come to the farm and advertise our classes, but you know, understanding why we're doing it, or why each post, what purpose does each post, you know?
Perfect.
For entertainment or for feel good,
yes,
or advertising.
Yes, I agree.
Okay. Yeah, we can definitely talk about content and social media. I mean, it's relevant for all content, but most of us are focused on social media anyway. Like that's the main outlet that most of us use. So yeah, I can certainly delve into that and what your purpose should be and how to think about that.
Great.
Perfect.
Great.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Thanks,
well,
Tammy.
Everybody have a fantastic day.
Awesome. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, you're welcome. Kelly, I did see that you texted me, so I will respond now that this is over.
Okay,
I've been in back-to-back meetings.
I understand. It's all good.
All right. Talk to y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.